What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and we're back here for a little bit of a fun thing today. We are reacting to the SAG nominations, and sadly, due to the wildfires that are currently happening over in LA, they aren't doing a live stream, they're just doing a press release, so we hope that everything clears up over there. But we'll be reacting to these nominations when they come out any minute now. But before that, we realized we never really did SAG nominations on the channel just because there's so much happening right now, and it's only going to get crazier the further we go into the season, so we figured, why not drop our predictions like right before, and then we'll know right away if we were right or if we were wrong.
Yeah, we have like an instant feedback here. There's just so much going on. Like, I was thinking about how it's going to go down next week, and I'm like, that's going to be exhausting because we have to do BAFTA predictions. We have to do Critics' Choice reactions, BAFTA predictions, BAFTA reactions, and then final Oscar predictions, and then final Oscar reactions. There's so much going on, but that means y'all got to stay subscribed because this is the busy season. We have so much content coming out for you guys in the next couple of weeks, but let's get right into these predictions. So let's start off at the top. Ensemble. I know this is the only category you and I differ in at all, so we can quickly go through. Both of us have Emilia Perez, Conclave, Wicked, Sing Sing, and then we just differ on the last one. I'm going Anora. What are you going with?
I currently have A Complete Unknown, and I was really going back and forth between these two films of which one I should have in. Anora makes sense in terms of the film's overall prospects, but just looking throughout history, I know that Elvis missed, but more often than not, these musical biopics do find their way in here, especially when they have more of an ensemble cast feeling, which A Complete Unknown has. But, I mean, honestly, I think if Anora makes it in, it could take out Sing Sing. And Sing Sing's one that I feel like is very much on the downward trajectory. I know we had this conversation all the way back in like August when the movie first came out of like, would SAG respond well to Sing Sing because the majority of the cast is not members of the guild, and at that time it seemed crazy to think that because Sing Sing was the projected frontrunner. It had all the buzz it needed, but August was a long time ago. Stuff has changed a lot since then, and I could honestly see Sing Sing be the one to miss, not Complete Unknown or not Anora.
I agree with you, and I'm going to make a big statement here. If Sing Sing misses SAG Ensemble, I will be taking it out of my Best Picture top 10.
I would follow you right there. It's currently at my number 10. I have taken out another movie from my 10 to switch up my top 10, but that's for a different video. But moving through the rest of these categories real quick. Best Film Actress, we have the same exact five: Mikey Madsen, Demi Moore, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, and Nicole Kidman.
I'll put a little asterisk beside my final slot for Nicole Kidman there. I think Nicole Kidman is completely interchangeable with Angelina Jolie. I believe one of these two will make it in, but I am not sure which one. I'm going Kidman because I feel like Angelina Jolie is on such a steep downward slope, while Nicole Kidman has kind of just been at the same level the whole time. Also, I would be very pleasantly surprised, but I am not expecting it at all, to see either Marianne Jean-Baptiste or Fernanda Torres show up here. Not expecting it, but that could happen too.
And that will move us over to the Best Film Actor category, where, again, we are the same 5 for 5, and we've been the same 5 for 5 for this at almost every award show, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Being Timothée Chalamet in A Complete Unknown, Ray Fiennes, Conclave, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Colman Domingo, Sing Sing, and Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have Daniel Craig here, they have Hugh Grant, they have someone completely else, but I mean, we've been saying for months now that if anywhere is going to respond to SAG, and we know the reception to actors when actors had no one wanted to work with them, but we both feel like people are going to respect Sebastian Stan and respect what went into this performance, and they're going to throw him a bone here like BAFTA did, like Golden Globe did.
There is definitely a possibility, though, that Sebastian Stan gets nominated for A Different Man instead of The Apprentice. I would not be overly surprised if that happened. So, yeah, I'm not... So I'm expecting to see Stan. I'm not 100% sure which performance, though.
Going into another category where we are 5 for 5 the same, being film supporting actor, Kieran Culkin, Denzel Washington, Guy Pearce, Edward Norton, and Jeremy Strong, which, I mean, these are not the projected top 5 on any awards prospects app, so it's kind of funny how we have the exact same 5 here. Clarence Macklin, we both have missing. Yuri Borisov, we both have missing. And we both don't have any complete surprise shocking us in this category.
Yeah, it's a bit bold to go no Clarence Macklin at this point, but both of us are leaning that Sing Sing could be the surprise snub from SAG Ensemble, and so it only makes sense at that point to leave Clarence Macklin out if this is missing ensemble. Now, that said, neither of us do have it missing ensemble, so maybe it doesn't make sense for us to have him missing. But that said, I just feel like that top 4 of Culkin, Pierce, Washington, and Norton are so strong. And then the 5th slot, it could be Macklin. I'm just leaning Strong because I'm expecting The Apprentice to do a little bit better here.
And I feel you there. And as you see from my predictions, I do have Sing Sing in ensemble. I have Macklin out, and I think that's totally a reality here just because of what my concern was before about them responding to people not in the guild. They usually go out for people who aren't in the guild when they are typical frontrunners or in films that are just so strong. And as we've mentioned, Sing Sing is on the downward trajectory, and I could see Macklin being an easy switch out for, like you said, so many people who just feel very likely for a nomination here. Then that will bring us to our next category of film supporting actress, where again we're 5 for 5, and again we have the 5 that are not the projected top 5. We have Zoe Saldana, Ariana Grande, Isabel Rossellini, Margaret Qualley, and Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Emilia Perez is going to perform extremely, extremely well here at SAG, and that's why it just makes sense to have a double nomination here. SAG often does these double noms, and often if we're going to see a double nomination happen at the Oscars, we often see it happen at SAG too. So it just makes sense to put Selena Gomez in here. And at this point, I feel like Saldana, Grande, Rossellini, and even Margaret Qualley are all pretty locked at this point.
And I think it's really interesting how narratives and trends switch each year, because this is our 3rd season of doing this here on YouTube, and the last 2 years there's always so much talk about there has to be a double nomination, and then it didn't happen last year. And I kind of feel like I haven't seen anyone say like, oh my gosh, there has to be a double nomination this year, when I guess Emilia Perez
there to be.
yeah, when Emilia Perez is the strongest contender for that double nomination.
Yeah, people are denying it because they want to speak it out of existence.
Well, that will bring us to our final category here of Stunt Ensemble, which this one's not on Gold Derby, but it is on Awards Expert. So the 5 that we have here, I'm pretty sure are the same 5, being The Fall Guy, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep, same top 5. And at this point, I feel like the only thing I could really see swap out is you could take out Deadpool and Wolverine for something like Monkey Man, but I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they'd go for an indie when it's SAG. So I feel good about that top 5 with just a little bit of room for movement.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too, and honestly, I don't know if Deadpool and Wolverine would be the one to boot out. I think it would lean more towards something like Gladiator 2, which is on the downward trajectory, or Furiosa, which has had a very spotty track record so far through the guilds, where some guilds are very much for it, and some just don't care whatsoever. But those are 2 films who seem like they would be up SAG's alley, at least in the stunt ensemble category. So Monkey Man's one I had originally in, but then I realized you're right, Deadpool and Wolverine kind of needs to be in this category.
Okay, so we had to wait a few minutes just to get the nominations. They were a little bit delayed, but they're here now. So we are both looking at it. Are you ready, Dylan?
I am officially ready here with our 2025 SAG nominations. And I guess, Matt, how do you want to do this today? Do you want to look at them at the same time like we did for BAFTA Long List? Do you want me to read them? Do you want to read them?
Let's look at them at the same time. We'll get them live. You'll see what the nominees are on screen and get our fresh takes. So, outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role. Adrian Brody, Daniel Craig.
Oh
okay.
No.
Damn, we were both wrong.
Sebastian Stan, come on.
Well, I mean, as much as we both hoped that SAG would go for this, our argument for The Apprentice has been always that international bodies are going to like it more. That said, this is really good for Daniel Craig. Really, really good, because this is a movie that feels weird enough that a body like SAG might not have responded to it. So really good for Daniel Craig. Medium for Sebastian Stan. It's not a killer, and it's not a killer for him. It's not the end of the world, as long as he gets the BAFTA nomination.
And the biggest thing here, I think, is what you just said there, is that Craig should not have showed up with that type of performance in a movie that odd. The fact that the actors are responding to it, and the fact that he got the Golden Globe, and maybe he goes on to the BAFTA, is looking very good for him. So I think our final two for that spot would be Daniel Craig versus Sebastian Stan. And it'll kind of come down to BAFTA. I think if Stan gets the BAFTA, I'm still going to be predicting him. If Stan misses the BAFTA, or Craig gets it in addition to Stan, then maybe we have to have a sort of discussion. But the top four, they show up here once again. Brody, Chalamet, Domingo Fines. Now, Domingo's here. The question is Macklin here?
Yeah, this is the most unshakable top four, though. It's crazy unshakable. Not one of them has missed anything.
Well, that's going to move us over to outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role. Are you ready to scroll down?
I am. Oh, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is here.
A SAG nomination. It's one that we weren't really even on the radar, so that tells me Kidman, Jolie, they're off. Anderson
Kidman and Jolie. That's so funny that we knew it was going to be one of that sort of category of like veteran performers, but we didn't expect it to be Pamela Anderson. We really thought it was Kidman, or if not Kidman, it's Jolie. But other than that, the other four here are so solid. Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, Mikey Madison, Demi Moore. And I can't remember the last time that we've had a non-English language performance nominated at SAG. So Carla Sofia Gascon here, this is a really good sign for Emilia Perez. I know months and months ago we were saying that what if Emilia Perez gets ensemble but struggles to get some of the individual acting nominations, but that's clearly not the case.
Yeah, clearly not the case. She's here. And I think a very interesting thing with both these lead categories is they both seem to have a pretty locked up top four. And I know that you have some reservations about Erivo getting in at the Oscar, but from at least nominations so far, we've had a locked four. And the fifth slot is kind of where things get interchangeable. We'll see what BAFTA does, if they continue to be the top four in each category, or if they submit Daniel Craig, because Pamela Anderson is not eligible at the BAFTA. She did not make the long list, so we'll at least have a new fifth over there. So we'll have to see how the rest shakes out.
I still view Cynthia Erivo as Margot Robbie. So that's a little bit where I'm coming from, where I feel like she'll be dropped off at the last minute for someone in a more like highbrow performance. That's where I'm coming from with that. But let's move on to the next category here, which is going to be outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role.
Whoa. There's so many misses here.
Oh my God.
Denzel's gone.
Oh my God.
Macklin's gone. Guy Pearce is gone.
Oh my God.
All three of them.
Jonathan Bailey.
Jeremy Strong, but no Sebastian Stan.
Holy shit. Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice.
And Borisov. God. Borisov is now locked. Honor is going to be an ensemble.
Absolutely locked. Absolutely locked. Yuri Borisov is happening. Because that was our big reservation with Yuri Borisov was, can he make the SAG? He's going to make everywhere else. Can he make the SAG? Clearly, this movie's strong enough for him. Jeremy Strong, that's showing me people are watching The Apprentice. And even though they're watching The Apprentice, they didn't nominate Stan.
That brings me to something we said at the Globes, which I can eat my words on like 24 hours later, is I said that, hey, voters are going to watch these movies, and I think Stan will get enough votes for either of these films to still be good. Clearly, I think what this shows is people watch A Different Man, and maybe they voted Sebastian Stan A Different Man, maybe they voted Sebastian Stan The Apprentice, and guess what? Daniel Craig and Queer had enough votes to be ahead of just one, if not both of those performances. So that's what that's telling me. I think we have a
vote split. I really think we have a vote split here, and that's why we don't see Sebastian Stan. And honestly, now seeing Jeremy Strong in supporting actor immediately makes me think the Oscars, same thing's going to happen. There's going to be a vote split between A Different Man and The Apprentice. I don't know if I can predict Sebastian Stan.
And
seeing The Apprentice here, but not in lead actor.
And I mean, we have 3 major surprises or snubs here. Jonathan Bailey in Wicked. He doesn't make the Globe. He doesn't make the Critics' Choice. He didn't make the BAFTA long list. But SAG loves Wicked. And I mean, Wicked is what I've had winning ensemble for a while. But after the Globes and the BAFTA long list, I was like, I guess I'm going to switch over to Emilia Perez. But with Jonathan Bailey showing up, I think I'm going back to Wicked for SAG Ensemble, which then would, if Wicked's nominated, we would assume, but that would throw Wicked back into potential Oscar win contention, because if you have SAG, that at least puts you in the conversation. And I guess the big misses here, we've already talked about Clarence Macklin. This is not a good look for him. He can't be nominated for anything else for the rest of the season besides the Oscar. Denzel Washington, give you your flowers again. Here they're at. He misses SAG. This is the place he should not miss at. So I will be joining you.
He should have been locked here. I think he's done.
That would move Denzel out of my 5, and that would create space for Borisov to come back into my 5. And yeah, and Brutalist. I'm not expecting Felicity Jones because Guy Pearce couldn't even make supporting actor.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Now, this is a fun,
I think I have to put Jeremy
SAG
Strong
surprise.
I really think I have to put Jeremy Strong in my top 5.
Yeah, I think you should too. And I think that Jeremy Strong and Karen Culkin are really proving this TV to film transition, the whole theory of it, wrong, because they are just getting nominations and people are on this Succession high, and Succession just showing that it's a different beast. It's not any of these other shows. It's what people love. It's what they crave, and these performances are what people are all about. One sweeping and one is getting in, and I'm assuming with the BAFTA, 3 of the 4 major precursors.
So because there's no Guy Pearce here, I think we can both agree Felicity Jones is fucked.
I think she was fucked before, but yes, this is completely leaving her off.
I agree, but holy shit. Just last thing about Jonathan Bailey. I don't think this is going to transition to anything for this year, but I do think Jonathan Bailey will be a strong, locked supporting actor next year for Wicked for good.
Well, that's going to move us to supporting actress. And before we scroll down, obviously we're not expecting Felicity Jones. We didn't have her in our predictions. We had her 5. A complete unknown is showing up here. It's got both its people. Could Barbaro show up? Could Fanning show up? But then again, who would get morbed? We don't see Tucci here. Maybe there's a Conclave morb. I don't know.
Could we see Jamie Lee Curtis show up in this category?
Oh, that would be crazy. I guess let's scroll down, and our first one is Marco Barbaro, a complete unknown. Oh, yes. Personally, that's a great nomination. I never thought it would happen. So, a complete unknown, Honora, they're in ensemble. Macklin missed. Sings out. But you're reacting. That means
Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Someone else is missing. That's 2.
Ooh.
Okay, who's number 3? Daniel Deadwyler.
Oh, no.
That's 3. That's 3 morbs. So Saldana and Grande have to be the last 2.
Yeah. Yeah, Grande and Saldana are here.
Okay. Whoa, okay. So, now that...
No Isabella Rossellini. So, Conclave is not looking good for a win here.
Yeah.
No Selena Gomez. So Emilia Perez does not have the double nomination. Does that affect its winning chances? I don't think so, but maybe in some world. And then...
who's our other one?
God, who was our other one?
I don't remember. Let's go.
Oh, Margaret Qualley. No Margaret Qualley. No Margaret Qualley. Holy shit. That's something that, I expected SAG to go really all out for the substance. But they just went Demi Moore.
And I guess that reinforces what a lot of people were saying earlier in the season, where Moore can survive without Qualley. Qualley can't without Moore. And we were seeing throughout most award shows, like, no, they're a package deal. We have them both, and we just maybe award Demi Moore. And now we're seeing it's just Demi Moore. And at least based off of this, that would maybe potentially throw Madsen ahead of Moore for a potential win.
But I wonder if God, the Substance bots in the comments are going to come for me for saying this, but you know, I had gotten to a point where I was like, the Substance is real, industry loves it, it's going to happen. You know, all of my doubts about like will the industry respond are wrong, but I really expected Margaret Qualley to be here. And is there a possibility that later on this week when we get to some of these other guilds that we consistently see the Substance underperform a little bit?
And I guess to give you some backing here, because like you said, we love you Substance fans. We like the Substance. We both,
well,
8 or 9 out of 10 of the movie. We enjoy the movie. We're just trying to be realist and look at the awards prospects and see the nature of the season. And like early, we were massive doubters, saying maybe it could get makeup, maybe it couldn't. But then we saw how the season went. We've reacted. We've included into other categories. So like, we're not here to be like, oh my gosh, you can't criticize us or hate us in the comments. We are open to that. Just like, I don't know, make it valid criticism of the movies.
Like, okay, The Substance, one of my favorite movies of the year. I have been banging the drum for this movie ever since Cannes. I saw this movie very early, and I have been talking about how great it is ever since then. But the fans in the comments, you're not helping your cause.
You had said, what if Substance does not do great the rest of the week? And I think the biggest thing there will it make PGA? And I think if it makes PGA,
and I think it will.
It is a Oscar nomination for Best Picture. And I know people will be like, oh my gosh, it's doing so well everywhere else, it doesn't need PGA. But I believe if it misses PGA, especially for if some of these smaller movies like Sing Sing, like Nickel Boys, or even something completely off the radar for Best Picture like Nosferatu, these are films where if they get PGA over Substance, it has to raise questions, it has to raise debates. Where if Substance gets PGA, we're cool. It's in, and it could even be as high as number 4, as some people in the comments were trying to say.
Yeah. Well, I have Substance in my top 5 now. Margaret Qualley missing is making me doubt a little bit, but I'm not going to doubt. Even if it misses PGA, as long as it performs well at BAFTA, I'm all in on the Substance. But
all right.
If it misses BAFTA, all right, let's move on to this final category. We'll stop talking about the Substance. And
number 1?
Ensemble.
A complete unknown. Nice. I like it.
Okay.
Great nomination, personally. Let's see. Number 2. Oh, it's listing off the ensemble.
Oh!
Anora. Okay.
Anora?
Yeah, it's here. I mean, it made sense.
Borisov
Borisov got in. So, like I said, supporting actor, something's getting more. It's probably Sing Sing, Maclemus, but we'll see.
I am almost certain Sing Sing's not here. Conclave.
Amelia Perez, and Wicked.
And Wicked. Sing Sing. Sing Sing
Yikes.
is done.
Yikes.
Sing Sing is over.
Wow. Sad times.
Oh my God.
And Sing Sing, is it over where it's just Domingo and it somehow misses out on Adapted? Because the movies that are like next in line and Adapted are the Best Picture strong movies. A Complete Unknown. That is what most people have out. And I mean, if A Complete Unknown keeps hitting everywhere like it's been doing, A Complete Unknown can grab an Adapted Screenplay nomination.
That might be a reach, because I don't know though. I mean, that category is so weak, but yeah.
I mean, we could get both musical movies, Amelia Perez and Wicked.
Yeah, I don't think Sing Sing's dropping out of screenplay, even if it's out of picture though.
It might not. I don't think it is either. Just looking at it, because I mean, it's not eligible at WGA, so like it's just will it get the BAFTA, and it could get Morbid at the BAFTA too, and then Sing Sing has no more real nominations the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And A Complete Unknown is getting the BAFTA.
Sing Sing exclusively has PGA left, and it could get they could drop it from PGA.
Wow, that is a category. So I mean, our win contenders.
God damn.
Bad SAG performance.
Fucked up.
Missed 3 four potential nominations because it missed Sing Sing and Ensemble, it missed Clarence Macklin supporting actor, Guy Pearce in supporting actor, and Felicity Jones in supporting actress. That's four nominations that were widely predicted on Awards Expert and on the Gold Derby, even though we didn't have all of those personally. And yeah, it's not looking good. I know SAG is not a 100% correlation to BAFTA and 100% correlation to Oscar. We should not expect 5 for 5s across the board here, but Sing Sing, I mean more specifically, is a movie that needed SAG. And the fact that SAG was like, no, we are not receptive to you for whatever reason that is. It could be underseen. It could be the fact that everyone outside of Paul Raci and Coleman Domingo are not SAG members. It could be the fact that people are playing themselves outside of Paul Raci and Coleman Domingo. There's a lot of factors going into it, and it's one I'm sad to see miss. But before people like get super mad or anything, I think this is a pretty great 5 for Ensemble. I feel like while I personally would have loved to see Sing Sing here, I feel like the 5 we do have here probably 5 of the best ensembles of the year. 5 like the top 7 or so.
Worth noting, this is the first year in a while that there has not been a non-Best Picture nominee.
That is true. And I guess if Sing Sing got it still could have been that. But yeah, Complete Unknown is in Best Picture. There's no denying that. Honor, Conclave, Amelia, and Wicked could potentially win Best Picture. So yeah, I think 5 for 5. And that would be a cool stat. Might be the first time in the expanded era?
I would have to go back and check that. I'm not sure on that one. But yeah, this is a very rare occurrence that we kept doubting. Like, will something else come in? Could the Piano Lesson? Could Saturday Night? But in the end, it really just was, no, those films aren't strong enough to do that.
Well, that is to move us to our final category, the category everyone seems to forget about at SAG, and SAG honestly forgets about them too because they don't put them in their actual TV show. Outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble. And I mean, we had our 5. We expected this 5. I'm just going to roll through these because it appears it is that 5. Deadpool,
no, it's
Dune,
not.
Fall Guy, Gladiator, and Wicked.
Furiosa's
Wicked!
Gone.
Wicked's
Furiosa
in here.
gone.
Whoa.
Wicked.
That's crazy because, like, they show year after year they don't care about anything with choreography. It's strictly action based, and I mean Wicked has some.
It's I think what they're talking about is the fact that they harnessed Cynthia Erivo up and whipped her around as she sang "Defying Gravity."
That's like 40 seconds.
Yeah, but
Whoa.
I think that's what they're talking about is the flying sequences.
Furiosa, screwed. Shows.
Yeah.
I mean, Warner didn't care anything about any of their movies besides Dune Part 2 this award season, and here's more proof of that.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think this is a solid top 5, and hopefully they are talking about choreography in terms of Wicked as well.
They should be.
Because they should be stunts and choreography. It's very similar. It's about movement. It's about, having people come on who can move, who can do. It's about having actors and stunt coordinators come on who can create movement and do something beautiful with that. So Wicked, I'm going to pretend it's not just for the flying sequences and that it is actually for the choreography of it too.
And I feel like here, we did this with Golden Globes. Let's throw out some quick early win predictions here. We'll actually make a full video coming back to these later down the line after we see how more of the race comes out. But we're fresh off Golden Globes. CCA hasn't happened yet, so we only have one televised awards body. And we have these nominations here. So let's just work our way backwards. So we're at stunts and choreography. Fall Guy, it's a movie about stunts. They're going to give it to that.
Absolutely, Fall Guy. It just has to be because it is about stunts. It's about because it's about stunts, and it has like every single scene is the most glorious, massive stunt you could possibly imagine. So it's got to be that.
And then now for Ensemble, we're doing the big one next. And honestly, I could see 4 of these movies walking away with the prize. A Complete Unknown is the only one I don't think has a shot at the win, but I mean, it's got the biggest ensemble cast. I mean, everyone was eligible for a potential SAG nomination here, which is cool to see. You always love when actual ensemble members are eligible, because just looking at some of these other movies, Conclave, we're missing some pretty big cardinals in our list here.
Yeah, Carlos Diaz isn't even in here, and he's like a big showcase in the movie.
But at least for the win, I think it really comes down to what do you expect to be in win contention for Best Picture? If you think Anora is going to go on to Best Picture, you kind of have to see Anora win Ensemble here. If you think Conclave is a potential Best Picture upset, got to see that. Emilia Perez, Wicked, it's the same thing. And at least based off of all the nominations here, I'm kind of leaning more towards Wicked. And it's going back to something that I was thinking a few weeks ago of how Wicked's path to Best Picture contention is PGA and SAG, which I know that combo is kind of lethal, but Emilia Perez would be my alternate.
I'm not considering Wicked as a Best Picture win contender at all. I feel like if it was, it would have performed a little bit better at... I would say if it was, it would have performed a little bit better at the Golden Globes. It would need a directing nomination. It's not happening for a win. It could take PGA. I would still write it off for the Oscars, especially if we're thinking Zoe Saldana is going to essentially run the table in the supporting actress category. Wicked cannot win with its current win haul, which is basically just Tex. So Wicked, that's not happening. It could win here, though. It could win here. I'm not going to rely on that. Instead, I want to go with something that we often see SAG do, which is they vote with their hearts. And that's why I think they're going to go for Emilia Perez, because there's such a narrative around here. Now, the thing against Emilia Perez is that there's only 4 credited members of the ensemble, being Gascon, Gomez, Paz, and Saldana. But I don't think that's a huge detractor. I don't think they're going to look at that and go, well, we can't vote for that. There's only 4 people in the nominations.
With like 5.
Yeah, Coda won with a very small ensemble. I believe even Everything Ever All at Once didn't have that many people listed. It was The Family and Jamie Lee Curtis, basically, I think. And so having 4 here, I feel like there's still a narrative around them. And again, I feel in my soul, in my gut, that the industry is going to keep responding to Emilia Perez. Now, I disagree with you. I don't think Anora needs to win this in order to win Best Picture. Like, I don't see that whatsoever. I feel like the nomination here is a major, major win for it. And I would go as far as to say, if Anora does win SAG Ensemble, that shows that it's strong enough that there's no question it is sweeping the season for Best Picture, essentially, from that point on. Because, this is an ensemble full of people that, like you were saying earlier, Sing Sing wasn't largely SAG members. Anora is the same. For the most part, the Russians in this movie aren't going to be SAG members, I would assume. So, I don't think we need to give this a win. But if it does win, big signs.
I guess for me, my more case for Anora kind of needs to win here is it's probably not winning that BAFTA. It's probably not winning the BAFTA.
Good.
It already didn't win the Globe. It's probably not winning PGA. So currently...
Yeah, it could. No.
It could.
What do you mean it's probably not winning PGA?
I wouldn't have Anora in the top 3 of PGA currently.
In the top 3 on a preferential ballot?
That's a conversation for when we get to PGA. But I think that with its current outlook, it's looking like it would be a combo of CCA and potentially SAG. And I feel like it needs that to continue to hold its place as top 3, top 2 at the Best Picture race. Because I think other films will be coming into the race with 2 wins, whether that is a BAFTA and Golden Globe, if that is a SAG and PGA or something like that. And it needs the second thing here to really cement itself to be like, hey, I'm in the race, I'm for real. And I guess the only other film that we really didn't talk about was Conclave. And I mean, Conclave would be a weird one. Rossellini didn't get nominated, Tucci didn't get nominated, so it's just Ralph Fiennes. But we've seen that in the past where a film maybe underperforms with specific nominations but gets the ensemble. But I don't think that SAG is the place where Conclave is going to show its dominance. But let's dive into supporting actress, and that's where I think we'll see SAG night. Where are things going? If Saldana wins, Emilia Perez is looking great for ensemble. If Grande wins, Wicked's looking great for ensemble. And if anyone else wins, Anora, you might be cementing yourself as a potential upset here. And I don't know, Saldana is poised, like we talked about in our Globes video, for a sweep. And I think that Saldana was always going to win Golden Globe, she was always going to win BAFTA. Those were locked up in her corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, SAG, that's more of a discussion. CCA, that's more of a discussion. CCA, if they're predicting the Oscars, they're going Saldana. If they're going with what movie they like the most, they're going Grande, and I think they'll go Grande. And then SAG here, it will be, hey, if Wicked's for real an ensemble, Grande. If Amelia is, Saldana. And if neither, probably still Saldana.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even if Honora were to win, I don't think it changes anything. It's Saldana versus Grande. Barbaro, Curtis, Deadweiler, you're all just those three are just lucky to be here. So I'm gonna go with Zoe Saldana because I do think that Amelia Perez is going to overperform here. So I'm sticking with Zoe Saldana.
And I think a very interesting question, at least a takeaway here from SAG, is does Deadweiler, Curtis, or Barbaro translate anywhere else? I don't believe any of them, or Curtis is long listed at BAFTA, but Deadweiler and Barbaro aren't. And then for Oscar, can any of those three really jump in and knock out someone like Selena Gomez, knock out someone like Margaret Qualley, Isabel Rossellini, or is it someone who didn't even get nominated here, like Felicity Jones, which I would doubt, but she could if Brutalist is really that strong for Best Picture. So I think we really only have 2 locks in supporting actress, where you ask us 30 minutes ago, we would say there's 4 near locks.
Yeah, I would have said Margaret Qualley is a full lock, and I'm doubting it now. I'm doubting it. Okay, Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin, sweep.
Yep, it's a sweep, and like even here, like if he was going to lose, the guy I would have said would have been his best competition isn't even nominated. It's of Denzel. So like there is no win competitor here, and it's just Kieran Culkin.
Well, I disagree that Denzel would be his strongest competitor because Guy Pearce is his strongest competitor, and Guy Pearce also not here. So
yeah,
it's just Kieran Culkin.
I think Pierce is the strongest competitor everywhere else. Not Globes. SAG, though, I think Denzel would have been, because he's Denzel. They go for him in right enough times, but still, yeah, it's Culkin. He's sweeping. And I think the bigger thing now is to look at is Denzel is probably out overall. He missed SAG. There's no reason for him to miss SAG. He's probably going to miss BAFTA as well. So now that means we have Culkin, we have Borisov, we have Norden, we have Pierce. Now that 5th slot, like you said, probably not Jonathan Bailey. Is it Strong? Is it Macklin, a resurgence? Is it someone else?
Okay, on to Best Lead Actress, Demi Moore. Demi Moore. We know SAG loves a narrative. Demi Moore has the narrative this year. It's a great performance, and she has a narrative. She's reminding me of what we saw last year with Lily Gladstone here, or the year before with Michelle Yeoh. The question is Mikey Madison Emma Stone, or is she Cate Blanchett?
I think what I agree there, too, is Demi Moore, especially after the Globes, the momentum is there. It's probably going to continue. I wouldn't be shocked if she wins Critics' Choice this weekend, because I was mistaken in our Globes video that some ballots were still out there. Well, granted, some people probably already submitted because the period was already going. Some people may have waited for the Globes, and they may have adjusted, and maybe the race was close enough between Madsen and Moore that she was able to overcome the space that she was probably down for. So yeah, I think Demi Moore will win here. But the only thing that's giving me reservation is Qualley did miss, and maybe there is a portion out there of people who just really didn't like the substance, but Moore was strong enough to get in. But I still think if she was strong enough to get in, she probably will win.
If she's strong enough to get in, she's strong enough to win. So Demi Moore definitely, I think, wins here. Like I don't see any world where Mikey Madison takes the SAG. The race, I think, will be determined up at BAFTA. Does Demi Moore win BAFTA? And if she does, she wins the Oscar.
Yeah, I think that is the most likely outlook. But I mean, if Moore wins CCA this weekend, it's wraps.
I disagree. I think that it's very likely Demi Moore at this point. But, you know, like Demi Moore, I would say if she wins CCA, it's like I would go 75-25. But it's not wrapped.
I guess it could not be. But I mean, at that point, she would have 3 of the 4 and maybe even wins BAFTA too. And 3 of the 4 is pretty hard to overcome.
Last year, didn't Lily Gladstone take Critics' Choice as well? Or was that
But Emma Stone had Globe, she had BAFTA. So she had 2. Madsen would only, if Moore wins Critics' Choice, Madsen would only potentially have 1.
But theoretically, just wondering over this, theoretically...
Stone would have beat Gladstone at Globes.
You think so? Okay.
Poor Thing swept. It won
Yeah.
all of its categories that weren't against Oppenheimer.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just thinking it through. Because
Well, our final category is probably the most interesting category of lead actor because Adrian Brody is fresh off the Golden Globe. His film, though, didn't do great here. Timothée Chalamet lost the Golden Globe. His film did really great here. Chalamet is such a SAG-type winner, but Brody is such a SAG showy performance. And
and he feels like a seasoned sweeper.
he does, but at the same time, Timmy also feels like it'll be weird if he doesn't win one.
I disagree. I don't think he needs one. The only thing that says to me that this feels like it should have something is that he's a biopic performance. Like, not all personal bias aside, I don't think that this is a role that needs a win, especially up against Adrian Brody, who I really think runs the table.
Which he very well could. I guess my more case for Timmy here is the fact that A Complete Unknown overperformed. It's an ensemble. It got a supporting actress. It has 4 nominations. Clearly, SAG as a whole liked the movie. It's just, do they like his performance more than Adrian Brody's performance, which we will have to see. I think Brody goes on to win CCA. At the time of SAG voting, he'll have 2 precursors, and kind of the same case with Demi Moore. It will be most likely going on to 3 and potentially even going on to 4.
All right, so that brings us to the end of this video. Let us know what you think down below. Bully us more for the substance, even though we both think Demi Moore is going to win. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we appreciate it. Make sure that you subscribe because we got a lot more coming. And as always, my name's Matt.
My name's Dyl, and this has been Fantasy Filmball.